Hi everyone, welcome again to another episode of Guide for an African Gen Z, where we talk about things and issues that we do not usually talk about. So the whole essence of this show is so that we want to teach people around us, in our ages or above us, to not make the same mistakes other people have made, or else the mistakes we have made, so that we can make a better generation. So here with me, Steve, and my friend
Togo.
Towanda. What is that nickname? Just never
Simundisakira ro nickname yako.
mwenefero vezera ni nickname ya nji. Eh? Come say, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good.
All right.
I'm very grateful for life. So yeah,
Aye, zabwino. Zona bwino.
So our issue today that we have to talk about is the issue of generational curses. And the reason why I'm bringing up this topic is I was at work this week and I brought it up. And
Yes.
there was so much stigma and shock from people. Like, and it's like I'm being you know? So I was very
It's attention.
amwene ndinayambitsa mpungulungu kunchiro
Kakomoshwa ni
amwene paga mademo musaseke choncho nanonso enda milandu ino. But anyway, so it got me very intrigued and interested that I wanted to talk about it.
Yes.
So for starters, do you believe in generational curses?
Yes. Absolutely. I believe in it.
Okay.
There is generational cases. Or they are generational cases.
They exist.
Yes.
Maybe I may cut you off guard, but how did you come to become aware of them? That they're generational curses? It is something that happened in your family, or you've observed it? How did you come to start, to see this?
Basically, as a social worker, as someone who has worked with a lot of communities, one of the biggest, one of the issues that we have in communities is issues to do with poverty.
Okay.
So to me, poverty is a generational case.
Okay.
Because if you are to end poverty, then it means someone should take an initiative, someone should take action towards ending that. So if there are people that are passing through things, you keep on passing through them, it means that one is a generational case.
Okay.
So to me, one of my examples is issues to do with poverty in communities, because in each and every district, in each and every community where you go, you are going to find people are in absolute poverty.
Okay. So actually, for me, the how I actually got into like the understanding of generational curses, actually, I found it on TikTok. So this girl was graduating, and then when she was graduating, this was literally her after she had received a degree. She started saying that, you know what, different families go through generational curses, and I feel like inaenda banga break ya watu. So I got very intrigued because she started talking about it, that, you find that there's a repeated cycle of things that people are going through that doesn't seem to end, but someone has to break it.
Yes.
So I got very interested. So now, the other issue that I've seen is Antambira Maibanga relate generational curse to spiritual.
No, it's not. Okay, there are generational cases that are really spiritual related, but I think today we are not talking about that dimension.
Okay.
Chifuka chona na kurino and rimangona ngari kurino when things are happening to us, they it is spiritual. But no, it's not usually about that. Yeah, yes, so so it's not about that spiritual aspect. Yes, it's there. Komano, we should take it for now. Generational cases are normal and they're just part and parcel of our lives up until someone makes a sacrifice, makes a decision where they're going to end that cycle.
Okay.
There's a saying, in families, things keep on happening in the very same pattern up until someone decides, enough is enough. I no longer want this.
Okay.
So that's the way we should look at generational cases. I want to break that record. Like you are saying, this lady is saying she got a degree, or woman, she's the very first person to get a degree. She has broken a cycle, and that is a generational cycle.
Okay, so now, since we're already on that avenue, what type of generational curses have you experienced as a social worker, and in general, what advice or what insight would you have in regards to these generational curses?
So there are a number of generational cases that me as a person, I have noticed or I have seen or I have worked around. I'm not talking about my experience, but I'm talking as
in general?
a community engagement specialist.
Okay.
So someone who engages with the community, someone who relates and understands community. What are the patterns? So there's that one here, spiritual cases, whereby we talk about those generational cases. For instance, and when akakwatira mabanja amata family kumene koko, they would take that as a spiritual case. Maybe that would be an example. But my interest so much in the social dimension of generational cases, whereby the habits that we learn from our parents, or the habits that we learn from the community that we are growing in.
Okay.
I always talk about someone who has not grown up in love and someone who has grown up in love. If they are these people, when you put them together, even the exposure is different, the connection, the way they socialize with other people, it's going to be different. So look at someone who has grown up in an abusive environment, whereby where they are, what they know is violence, what they know is anger, what they know is maybe being starved, not being cared for. That person, when they grow up, they're likely to
just repeat the same.
To be that.
Okay.
So when you look at someone who has grown up in an environment whereby they've been loved, they've been understood, they've been taken care of, they will show kindness, they will show love to others. That is a generational case. That is an issue whereby we talk about the social dimension. And also there's this psychological dimension whereby mwina muntu alindi narcissistic mother, narcissistic father. You know, we always associate narcissistic disorder, narcissistic behaviors with men, but women are very worse.
Is it?
Very.
I do not want to comment.
Don't comment. I'm just giving this example. Now, for someone who has grown up in a narcissistic environment, both parents are narcissists. The emotional abuse is intense.
So what is, maybe just for the sake of like our viewers, what is a narcissist? What exactly defines that? Because Antoine Amuna Samad also wouldn't be a narcissist there. Someone who is a narcissist.
So a narcissist amakhala no muntu amene amapanga nkhanza kwa the immediate people around them. Say if it's a wife and Yana amapanga nkhanza zopsha. This person is very lovely. Tikamona Steve. Inekunena kuti Steve amandikunta guys.
You are cheche udamenaja.
Sizingatheka bambo amenaja.
Amanyamula Bible atatu.
Amayaja zimene amapanga kunyumba ako ndizo yose tikukanira because they're very sweet on the outside.
And manipulative as well.
They are manipulators. And muntu amakhala kuti ali mu space mene yoyo sangathe sokufotokozera bwino because they are manipulated to understand I think this is the right environment that I'm supposed to be in. So for someone who has not grown up in a safe space like that, when they grow up, it is okay for them to also be narcissistic, to be manipulators. Abuse imakhala fulfilling to them.
I hear you. I actually, maybe just to echo on the same, it's a funny story. It's sad. But I think I was talking to some guys, or someone was telling me a story, Gudi, and Yamada Blanta. They actually profile women to a degree they have got emotional trauma in the sense Kudimuna Bambao and Akazuza, Kapena, they didn't have a father. So they look for people like that because they know Gudi Awawa Sangandi see when because they are looking for this thing that is lacking.
They are used to that.
So you also ndoti kuzunzika kwa mazitanga ngati chikondi in this case.
Ndeno kudziwa ndima grudge onena kuti akuzunza iweyo akuzunza. So they have a way of saying sorry to you. They will not say sorry kuti pepa ndasiya izizi hayi. Ona ndekuti kubweretsera mwana chifoni.
Amadziwa kugwira.
Inde pasino akubweretsera kale moto. Ushoka bwanji.
So actually ndoti nomuna, just if I'm getting you right, generational curses can be something that you inflict on people, kapena so you receive as a person.
Yes, it's a two-way thing. It is a two-way thing.
Ngati unazolewa kumenyedwa
Umafuna
udzifuna
so udzimenya anthu ena.
kapena udzingomenyedwa.
Yeah, udzimenyedwa kapena so udzimenya. So it's a two-way thing.
Yeah.
Yedu ndeno ndemeneno imakhalirano iya social.
Yes.
So there's psychological. This is that psychological generational case whereby someone is brought up in trauma. Mwina they had a mother gap, kapena they had a father gap. Panopo ndimaona kwambiri kuti no anthu ali that father gap.
Okay.
A lot of young people that I've talked to, okay, they have gaps for both parents, but your father is makala intense. I think amakala kuti no alibe kota tawire the responsibility yao sanga mutawe mwanaye.
Okay.
Pamene abambo ata kumusiya ndikudzabukana nthawi imene iwo akufuna. You come after 5 years, it's fine. 10, 20,
anavira kuteba.
Zapopo. So I have talked to, I think this past 3 weeks, I have talked to a lot of young people from 15 to around 24. Almost, and permanent now 80%, they have father gaps.
Okay.
Not kura bambo anamwalira, alibo, but he might be toxic. He's just irresponsible, and mwana uja panopa akupanga notice, like they register, because it registers in the border. If bambo atu anatisiya, mwana bambo atu anatimenya. So you might also be like someone I talked to recently, like yesterday. She was talking about having a dad who would beat her intensely, but now sakukhala ndi picture yeniyeni kuti chinkachitika nditani, but she remembers some of the things like pieces.
Okay.
Pieces. So I was trying to talk to her, but we should get to an understanding. But she has to move on because she has a life ahead of her.
Okay.
Ndieno umakhala ndi trauma from the past. So you have this gap, but maybe she was always anxious, she was always depressed.
So essentially, for someone who has this father gap, for example, what signs or symptoms do they exhibit in future? There is this gap.
Okay, so in future, you'd see, as some women would not want to be in relationships. They're just okay.
Because this gap is now...
It's in them, and they don't see the need to have men around them because they have not seen the love that a dad gives to a daughter.
Okay.
Whilst growing up, or even the support that one is supposed to receive, even at my age. One is supposed, even at 50, at 40, there are other fathers that are responsible now. They are still there emotionally for you. So, because there's that gap, you don't see the importance of having male people around, because and also umakhala bitter, right? Because umaona uri name wanga ndosiyana ndi anthu ena. Bambo anga sana ndikundi, bambo anga mandimenya, bambo anga zakuti. And to add on that, you would see now kuti mwina anthu ajafulo zoti ndipo nde my dad would cheat on my mom. My dad would beat my mom. My dad would do ABCD. You see? This is the mwana wajama register kuna kuti no, this is what my dad was doing.
Yeah.
So those just accumulate and it becomes a trauma. So when we are talking to people like those, trauma in my dimensions siyana, but still more, that trauma is inherited because you would see
yeah, so it's continuing.
The cycle continues it's just normal. You think but now this is whereby one would make a decision. I do not want my children to experience this. So that's where we break.
That's
that
where that generational curse breaks. Okay.
Yeah.
So actually, I think before we break off, just real quick, how does this relate to attachment styles? Because I'm seeing there's a correlation between this and how people attach in love.
Okay. I should just speak of one important one, the cultural dimension.
Okay.
Yagashai, I think we can just look at it as issues to do with poverty. Also, the way we are so rooted in issues to do with stigma, we do not want to change because of the cultures that have been rooted in us.
Okay.
So let's just give a quick example. Issues to do with mental health. There are very few people who are open enough to know they want to talk about issues to do with that, or someone to accept that I have a mental health condition.
Yeah.
Even kupira kuma communities which is someone and is a mental health panopo. You have to be skilled enough to speak life to the communities for them to understand. This is some kupanga chifanyona kuti Tanzania amaganizo lisokonekera. So pali makaja zosiyana siyana amene alipo anga issues to do with finance kuti ngati kubanja kumene koko nkhani za ndalama sezimayenda bwino iniyonso you're likely not kuti nkhani za ndalama ziyende bwino. Ngati kubanja kumene koko anthu munachita masukulu bambwano anapanga sukulu mayi anu ananunso you're likely kuti mupanga sukulu. Ngati kuli kophula inunso mukhala otani kuti ophula. So it takes someone to make a decision kuti ineyo kasha yakwathuyi I want to break it.
Actually, speaking on the culture thing, in end mabanga, so when you audit it's very hard not hard, but it's very unlikely to find parents having difficult conversations with their children. For example, things that are stigma related. In issues of issues of sex, issues of, like, for example, HIV and AIDS, because I think even back then, for some reason, it was like a rite of passage. I think I would assume were the things that created this barrier, because people would say, and it would be a rite of passage. But then now you find that we have moved into a generation whereby is not happening anymore. So you find that now, there's nobody, the parents cannot have that difficult conversation with the child, because in culture, basically, is into kasi. So now it has just become like a cultural, like you said, a cultural trend. Because you know what I mean?
So as parents, it's our responsibility to talk to kids, to talk to their children about those difficult situations. Mwana asamvekaniza kuzina ndi sex from someone.
Yeah.
Mwana asamaganiza kuna kuti mwana amakakulidwa kuchipatala when you are doing something in the bedroom.
Sorry.
So mwana mudzimufotokozera chilungamo kuti iwe unachoka apa ndipo zinaenda chonchi.
Okay.
So we should get this information from our parents. Chifukwa ine ngani je ndikakaimvera kunja. Ndikaimva mosiyana. Komaso sizikakhala bwino.
Munasoka imvera uyesa.
Ndikafuna ndiyesera mundi ufotokozere kuti thoko amuna amatani
abawacha. So anyways, when we're talking, I just remembered when you brought up the issue, how people relate to ngati azimai mena mabangia relate to azibambo. Ngati if they had an abusive father, and then, so in my layman terms, nabanga classifies into in two ways.
Yes.
Kuti pala anthu ena makala avoidant, and anthu ena makala anxious.
Yes.
And how I classified it in my layman terms, mwina muto ribanga guide. Inali issue yokuti anthu amene makala avoidant ndamakala nakumana ndi chinthu chowawa, kuti chinthu chija chidawa wambiri kuti they avoid kuti ichi chimaopsa. Ndipo anthu amene makala anxious, amakala they have never experienced it. So they are desperate for it.
To understand.
They want it. And then, for me, like, for example, in this case, when they look for people, they have never. This is like a true story. This group of people, they literally profile Atigana in this way. What is your background? And then they can there was a gap in a father. They're anxious. They like those type of girls. The reason being because they're anxious. They are longing for something they never had.
Also, it's very easy for women like that to adapt to that kind of environment.
Yes. Actually, for me, I think that's where I was actually coming from to say, it's a very dangerous cycle, because if you're not aware, you could, you're just looking for love, eh? Because you don't even know you've got that type of attachment. So that's where I also wanted to bring the conversation to.
Yes.
Do you have anything you want to add?
I think such type kind of people, they pass through a very sad moment.
Okay.
I don't think those people are really, really happy in life because unaona ngati muna zimene zimawachitikira ndi za try and error.
Okay.
Right? Komano it's difficult for them. Pena so matoka kuti muna you are tired. I've met people say I'm very tired of this, but I don't know how to get out of it because there is no way, there is nothing that I can do after this. And it registers in them if they cannot find something better than the space that they're in at that moment.
Actually, they don't see it because they've never had it. It's like muntu oti sunamwe madzi wachaga nde ungopeza kadontho sungambe sokusankha kuti ne andofuna kwa order.
Amakhala ndithu very comfortable. The abuse gets to them, and I remember I had a friend some weeks now. So this lady was saying, my drugs. So basi ndinakumana ndi mwamuna wabwino tsoko ndiyeno koyambirira ndinkangoona ngati mwamuna basi adzindizunza like sindimvetsetsa, like she's used, but also she was in that environment where akupanga ma drugs ndiyeno amangumana ndi azimuna omwewo awawo tino basi timahit and run omweti kandi attachment mawa wasowa munthu uja iyi basi ka fling 2 minutes iwe kufuna za serious. So she was saying ndikungodabwa kuti mamuna mpaka ndikotacha akataganiza yanjanjanjana. So I was telling her, that times you have to prepare yourself for love.
Okay.
Like you should prepare yourself for now, good things will happen to me.
Yeah.
Speak positively to yourself. I say ndiye ndela gali moro mwina ndekuti mwina kandi fortune kandi kodi gamoro my Everest. Then I say chaka chino ndiye ndela gali moro. So this other day she was like, Togo, mu prayer point manga panopondi kumapanga speak like life into the things that I want. So panopondi manena kuti ndikhala ndi chakuti the way you say it, because ineyo ndimakondo nacho ndikakhala panopa ndikhala ndi phone yako ndikhala ndi chakuti. So I was telling us when ineyo mpemphero mwanga sinimapempha kuti ambuye chakuti ayi koma chakuti chite chikhala changa ndongodekera yani kodi nthawi. So and we are supposed to develop that positivity culture kuti zinthu zabwino can come to us. Chifukwa nthawi zambiri timangoganiza kunena kuti zinthu zabwino zikuchitikira iweyo. I was speaking to some lady Friday. What, Togo, no is stagnant. But I look at my friends, my age, when I want to know themselves why in Dela, Alibabino, Gajanchani, in Ibanja and Ditera, more. So I was telling her, do you know how many times those people have been down? Do you know how many times they have cried in their rooms? Do you know if they are praying, what kind of prayer points they have prayed? You are not late. You are on your own journey. So, and we can get out of these things. No, but we should show people toxicity is bad, but they should get out of that environment.
Powerful. Actually, coming to the same, one thing that I have come to experience, I think someone said, we're putting a lot of effort in our work. So a lot of discipline at work, but we cannot translate the same discipline in our own personal lives. So I'll give you an example. Most companies you find every year, they do what we call a SWOT analysis. So a SWOT analysis is an audit of yourself to say, okay, how are we doing internally? What are our weaknesses? What are our flaws? What are our strengths? And then you're looking at the outside environment to say, okay, what are the threats and what are the opportunities that may come in? And I think from that assessment, an honest assessment is the genesis for where you can actually realize, muntu nekhanga ndine a narcissist. And acceptance of saying, I'm a narcissist is very, very important.
Yes, Steve, I always say that even when someone has done something that is bad to you, even when someone has hurt you, sit down and ask yourself questions. Why would this person be comfortable enough to hurt me? It means you have a weakness and they can take advantage of that. So most of the times, this one has done A, B, C, D to me. Whilst you have not asked yourself why you allowed that one to do that.
Okay.
So, ngati muntu, it's very important and it's true. Now, I always reflect. I never used to do this, but now I sit down and I'm always trying my very best to be better than yesterday. Chifukwa ukudziwa anthu samasangalatsidwa ndi munthu obowa.
Okay.
Anthu sasangala ndi munthu amene alibe khalidwe. Munthu amene amapanga zinthu zosadziwika bwino anthu sasangala naye. No one wants to associate themselves with that.
Okay.
So as a person, you're supposed to sit down. Ineyo ngaritoko, what is it that I'm doing that is wrong?
Yeah.
What is it that I'm doing that is right? And even when you are waiting for good things to happen to you, prepare yourself to be better for that is coming.
I see you.
You should also prepare yourself to handle spiritually, to handle the blessings that are coming your way. Because ngati munthu ulibe khalidwe sungapange handle iweyo madalitso amene akupeza. Never. They will go away. Utopeza mkazi wabwino, umutaya mkazi before iweyo ulibe khalidwe labwino. Utakupeza simu muna wabwino, umutaya muna chifukwa cholongolola. So munthu umayenera udzione iwewe ukozanso peza ntchito yabwino koma ntchito icho ndikukutani kodi? Kukuthera. Utakupeza ndalama zija because you are not conversant kapena nasuma nzipange discipline iweyo kuti no financial literacy yako ilipotani ndalama zija zikutayika. So ngati munthu tikwenda tizikhala pasi tizivomereza kuna kuti ifeyonso timatani kodi timalakwitsa. Munthu wakulakwira, look at yourself kuti ineyo munthu uyu wakwanitsa bwanji kuti afike stage imeneyo ndipanga izisi.
This very issue that you're bringing up, there's a philosophy that I actually like to practice. I'm not doing it as much, but I think I have to bring it back. Is this thing whereby I try to reflect on my day on a daily basis. So tsiuligata chinachitika ndi chani, china chake chinandikuitsa, zinatheka bwanji kuti chimene chijacho chindikuitse, ndipo chinandikuitsa ifwa chani. Pabali zinthu zina munthu atha kunena chinthu, for example, chimatha kukupanga trigger.
Komano sukuti ndi chifukwa chozimene munthu chiwanena.
Waona? Ndete mwina upeza kuti nomwina zomwana na munthu sizoona. Ndikuitsa ifwa chani.
Zukusowetsa ntani.
Koma ngati zandipanga trigger, mwina nzotani? Nzoona. So now it creates that room for, audit. And I think the other issue when imafandi kambe ndio kuti, just to echo to what you have said, in the business philosophy, amanena kuti ngati ufuna ubanga grow. I think we even talked about it last week. Ngati ufuna ubanga grow, sometimes the opportunity for growth is in you fixing the problems.
Kwambiri anthu mumafuna mukonze vuto lakutali momoti iweyo udzikonze weka. Uyambe iweyo kudzikonza madalitso akupeza.
Exactly. So in the same vein, pali philosophy na yake mwikanakuzapo this idea of becoming. So the idea of becoming is kuti munthu mafunika to khale chinthucho kuti chinthu chikupeze. Kuti it's the same thing as kuti the parable of the sower, kuti ineyo ngati mulimi, kuti mulimi amatani. Unazota mbuye Mulungu mulimi amalima amayika mbewu ija munthaka. Ine ndiyese kupanga zimenezo zomwe mulimi amapangazo. Zinazo is out of my control. So essentially I think speaking to the same thing that you're saying kuti ntchito ngati munthu wapatsidwa ntchito ngati if you have not become the employee that you're supposed to become to have that job, you lose it. If you have not become a good husband, even if you find a good wife, you lose her. So I think there's also that element that we have to practice becoming good people for the things that we want to have.
I always emphasize on that. Now, what you should work on becoming a better person. Everything else is going to come to you.
Yeah.
Like things are going to follow you.
Yeah.
When you become a better person.
I hear you.
So we should not just stick now. All right. So people, we are supposed to look at ourselves and wonder what like me, there are things I used to do and I cannot do them now. Why? I am matured and I've grown. I know now what is in the oposa. But Kalegale would actually say what it was also proudly.
Yeah, proudly. Without even realizing.
You're not even saying them.
Yeah.
But life and chances happen to everyone. Even those people that we have written off, they still come out as God. If they decide I want to become something. So as we were talking about focus on the things that you can control.
Yeah.
As many as it does, work on them.
Yeah.
We can't control. but we focus on those that we can control. After that, everything is going to come back to us. Maybe someone has so sevenfold.
I hear you. So I think we'll take a quick break, just to let people, regurgitate what we have talked about, because there's a lot that we've talked about. And then now we can come back to how people can actually start, some of the exercise people can do to start to break these generational curses.
All right.
Cool?
No problem.
Sharp, sharp. Hey, I say, so we're back. I think we've talked about different issues in regards to types of generational curses, not to fear them because they're not really always spiritual. But it's just part of evolution of life. And then I think we've talked about attachment styles and how these things, if they're not fixed, they affect us in future.
Yes.
So now the issue is now, what do you know? My generational curses you. Evidence, walking evidence of generational curses. Nantambira singathe yayi zinza kwathu nza kumtundu izi singathe yayi lele nokuzani. But yeah, so since we have agreed kuti izinto zazimata, how can we do it, and what are some of the steps that people can take to one, actually identify kuti I have a curse, you know what I mean, kuti there is a problem. How do you identify kuti there's a, because sometimes now nzoma makamba zijana makamwa ntambasale maito chubula kuti inero ndani malalata ine ndani makalibira, you know what I mean, without even identifying that as a problem.
I think it comes back ona kuti no muntu you have to sit down and meditate. And utadzoka ne ndawi eri ku kuti ngale nokuti ngati chipiki chene nditu cha moyo
reflection.
We should reflect kumaona nditu kuti no kuti ineyo moyo wanga ukuenda bwanji. Ask questions. Kuti kwathu kuzonto zina khala bwanji akoma yako obambo wako imagona ndawe ndithu kuti no tikamakula mu zinthu zina zake zimatidabwitsa mene zikuchitikira zimene zijazi tizikhala pasi kufufuza munthu udzifufuza uzidziwa ndi kuchokera kuti kwathu kunali kuti kwathu kunali kotani kalikalero kumachitika ma activities otani sinongati zimene zozo. You also go to your mother's side kumene kukuti anthu anachoka kuti kumachitika chani kwako kunali ma activities yanji zinongati zimene zijazi. All right, it still comes back to my spiritual cases ziwa timuna ringo sitengera ngati tikapita kuma prophetic churches amatha kukutengera back kuti ayi muna 4 generations back agogo kwankapanga zakuti zakuti ntifake zikuchitikirani helelelele zinongati zimene zijazi. Koma no sotikoza usitengera sokutana dimension ya moyo. It's not always we don't know this. Yes, life is spiritual, but it doesn't mean we know, but always we should take it in the spiritual aspect. Some things just need one to take action and pay a price for something that has been happening family one. Okay. So pay attention, ask questions, get information.
I hear you. Actually, you just to echo to what you're saying. But TikTok. TikTok wacha ndipa bwino. Iwe zobala matabu acha
everything.
Azimai kuti muzita kusintha oil wa galimoto osatira mafuta opikira, you can go on TikTok. Samatira kazinga mu galimoto. TikTok will tell you everything. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Anyways, so this girl amazaka amba kuti ati asana kwatire she did a deep dive of kubanja kwa nyamata ako kuti kodi kwako zimakhala bwanji, mwina zodwala zawo ndi zotani chani
ndipo zimene zimafunika kuti anthu lidzifufuza. I like the way Nigerians do it. Genotype chani zinthu zimenezo
ine ndipo ndimazona ngati zamarama ndipo ndikuyambira ndikuonera ngati izi ndi zamarama
ndifunira kwambiri ndisichamabereka mwana wa sekosewo mwamuona ngati mwana ino
sizamatama
inonso ndi kuti muli papchinjo pachipchinjo. All right, so I think it's very important zinthu panopo dziko la sintha we have information you make use of that information. Komanso even when we go on internet zomwe zama cases there are ways that you can break those things.
Okay.
Maloto omwewo amene anthu malota there are meanings ayo kalota mazira zotanthauza chakuti ngati ukulota dzinyama zakuda ayi ndi chakuti zilipo zinthu zija. So it's just kuti no munthu has to take an initiative kuti abange really find out ngaruyo mmene kunena kuti amafufuza kwa mwamunayo kenchani ndizofunikira mwina kwawo kwa anthu amagwa khunyu ndewe ukangopesa wadziberekera mwana wa khunyu
mwinaso amatumizana ziphaliwale
mwina kuli ufiti ndewe ukangopesa kuti basi wafikira mu ufiti
muna
yamatamba
tofunika masters
yero nde akufotokozera ora tiye tibereke mwana basi akhala ndondo chakuseliko zinthu ngati zimenezo we really need to find out sangokhala ndi excitement of that idea so in the process of finding out things munthu umayenanso kuti udzikhazike basi kuona kuti am I really supposed to be in this space or not?
I think in respect even to the same thing mwene magamba za life audit is it ndikukhala ku Blantyre pali nyumba ina yake nyumba iru wachidziwa chidzala cha site chicha chidzala cha site chili pakhonde meaning kuti anthu amuhudumu akakhatolera zinyalala zawo amadza kuthula pamenepopo kuti chigalimoto cha site chidzatani ndenene nkamuza nzanga kuti no ase apa pamene tikuonera pamene pakununkhiramo kuti afunsani ake ankatimo samva ununkhaso pano pamwenaso amatuluka panja nkumwati pakhondepo
adazolowera.
Exactly. So I think this is where it actually dawned on me, you know what, sometimes when you are seated in the problem, umazolowera, so umazindikira kuti kodi. So sometimes I think maybe the issue was how do we get us exposure, the word I'm looking for is maybe we need to be exposed to new environments to also realize kuti khangati kwathu kuja kuti makhala padzala.
Kwambiri ndipo tikhoza kungonena kuti anthu ambiri ndi padzala. So anthu fe exposure ndiyofunikira. We should get awareness. Zinthu ziti zimvetsetse bwino kuti kuti akamena kuti generational case ndi chani. It's not always about kuna kuti afiti. No. Pali zinthu zonena kuti it just needs you usinthe ina kuzinthu ziyamba bwino. So tione zimene zense kuti ineyo as I am getting ready for the world, what can I do? Ineyo ndimakonda kama kuona kuti just do what we've got to do, the world is going to adapt. When I was studying environmental health, I really didn't know what was the carbon, but the world has adapted. So muntu uzidziwa, when you are looking for your purpose, you have to do that with passion, and people are going to adapt. Then also, paliso njira zina kunena kuti one akapanga discover kuti mwina muntu makamba soti muna muntu ali ndi mother gap ali ndi father gap has trauma from the past wazozidwa kwambiri muntu uyu seek help, go for therapy, go for counseling, because counseling and therapy is zosiyana. So counseling you can do it one day, therapy is something that you are supposed to do wakanthawi.
Okay.
So go for therapy. People should help you to heal. Find coping mechanisms. Chifukwa nthawi zina umakhala kuti you have accumulated, you have borrowed up pain yambiri mbiri, imene you have not talked about, imene suna ikambe, and along the way anthu ambiri akupanga hurt. It might not just be muna mbaya wako na bombo wako. Ena amatokhala bangidwa bule, ndazi nzawo, ena they have been raped, ena they have chani. Zose zija. Zimakhala kuti ndi pain yambiri mbiri imene munthu ayinyamula. Seek help and akuthandiza. Sizochititsanso manyazi panopo. Muntu you should talk to people like professionals. Chifukwa pena just talking to someone, okay, it lessens the burden, but it might not give you necessary steps or burden ija. Ite kapena ute kukwanitsa kupanga survive in that burden. Doesn't mean kuti ukapita ku therapy kuja ndiye kuti iweyo ukhala kuti basi wachira kuti sukhaso ndi madhagawizi. No. Gapu yoyepo. Sunasankhe moyo umene. But now we are going to teach you how you should accept, how you should still prioritize yourself, how you should still look at life in a very different angle. So that is what therapy would help one do. People should get educated. Go to school, get education. In that way, you're also breaking a generational case. So that is a way of getting exposure, and also it helps your thinking. I remember when I was growing up, my mom would always say, I just want you to get any university. iweyo ndazi ako amene ali ku secondary munali klasi imodzi aja ukabwereza aja simukuganiza mofanana. At first I thought kuti akunama up until I meet people vanovoswa nemaona I think idi anthu vete maganiza di mosiyana because tinasiyana ma-steps kumbuyo. So I says munthu ali stand 8 ndi munthu ali form 1 sofanana despite kuti class you when it's just a class ahead. So thinking capacity ya munthu imasintha ukachita kusuka school kacha. Siri kuna kuti business siyabwino no. But just getting into class kubanga ka school kacha it helps kuti udzipanga critically think even business ija udzikhandi tundi tema financial chakuti chita ndona kuti no nditogwira ndithu komanso lino nditoyenera patime ineyo. Komanso munthu you can try out other things. Mwina kwanuko it's just poverty. Start with small business. Mwina phrases. Basi no dzisinda. Zimasinda. Wope zori mpaka nafa kukulisa chimani. Okulaga. Kagari moto. Zayo ntozija. Moyo masinda. And muntu is just the zeal to be in you kuna what in end of funnels and what is it and what is it. So when you make a decision, I want things to change. Things really change. But that change begins within, not from outside.
Maybe the other question would be: is that change easy? Is it easy to change? Well, that's the question I'm trying to come to.
It's not easy to change, but you have to be focused. When I go deliberate efforts to change. It's the same way Montana is suicidal. All right, Kabana Montana is depressed. So that person, we are talking to that person at Luke most steady. Kamuna aliva postpartum depression. Maybe you are grieving and all that. We want you to get out of that. Take deliberate effort. Me talking to you is a waste. I'll be doing my job, but you are supposed to.
You should want it.
Cooperate. Yeah. So I even tell my clients, you'll be wasting your money if you have not made a decision. So before we start talking, these are the steps that you are going to take. And if you think you are willing to take this path with me, otherwise, if you're not willing, moving the first session, you'll not come back. Because I don't want to waste your time. I do not want to waste my time. I want to after 3 sessions, even just after 1 session, it was enough.
Because essentially, I think maybe if I'm getting this right, therapy is just a guide to help you do the things that have to be done.
Lessen your burden.
So instead of what do you have to repeat the knowledge gap of what is imagitika branch, munapanga kale school imeneyo. Mudzu akali bobonda.
So in end kufotokozera iwe Steve accept rule motivation imene end kufuna sukufuna banga accept. Why do you want therapy? Do you think restoration is
actually for you it's a waste of time?
Yeah, why it's a waste of time. So ineyo andwenda ndima wasiya therapy no ziramba single plan imodzi because you still now kuti munthu uyo sakufuna kuti abake cooperate. Like people want to, so there are people who amafuna kuti akhale ma victims the whole time. You cannot be a victim pakalekale. Zoiba zakushitikira, but now you should make a deliberate effort. I want to get out and not be a victim anymore. That's you have to make a decision. But in end, you don't want I was talking to a friend, so she lost that 5 years ago. So I'm telling her that my son is 2 years, but I made a decision now. Now you so the way I am supposed to grieve. But her, she says, it feels like 5 years late. You will not be a victim.
There's something you haven't done.
There's a gap, yes. But now, so I was giving her my necessary steps. So the gap and but now, the deliberate effort should be made. You should learn to live with this pain and grieve. Not breakdown.
I think maybe the other question would be why would someone want or intentionally want to be feeling pain? because you know what I mean. In the case, could you know what I mean? Would someone intentionally make a decision to still be in the grieving state or in the problem?
Others would like okay, most women when it comes to relationships, they choose to still grieve. Unlike this pain, you have lost someone who is not going to come back again. It's a whole different scenario.
Okay.
Most women decide be victims mpaka kalilani. So they'll say, "Mama, urujana nibanga zakuti, urujana nibanga chakuti, you want nibanga chakuti." But soon when they don't the issue, they always want to talk about that pain.
So we're back. So I think we've talked about so many issues, so many issues. It's been a very good discussion. I think we've seen why Malawi as a society, we've got so much stigma around generational curses and even talking about them. We've also looked at some of the generational curses that are there. We've touched base on some of the attachment styles and some of the trauma issues that are around that, and the impacts of not fixing some of those generational curses. So I think now you are taking us through ways in how people can start to resolve some of their generational curses. So maybe you could just in a quick snapshot, what are those steps, and maybe what are those steps in which people can actually, break out of those generational curses, like some of the things they can do.
All right. I think I always say when I go the first thing that one is supposed to do is to accept when I go ali mu situation imeneyo. So secondly, muntu minute magambia munja kuti one should sit down and reflect. I think what machitika is easy kwambiri. What would be the causes and what would be possible ways of ending kapena mitigating this. Yeah. So after you have discovered that, then it's also very important to get awareness on the same and understand why is this happening, and getting to know the issues around that does not mean there's something that you are doing that is wrong, or they would know you will be in that state forever. Yeah. So we are to make deliberate efforts for now. I think this is the end of this. I do not want to be in this space anymore. Yeah. Then after that, we also look at issues that surrounding the stigma on that issue, because it would be an issue to do with an abuse and whatnot. Maybe it's issue to do with culture. Let's look at those things also and try to understand why are people stigmatizing this. Yeah. So when you understand those things, close a puzzle, so you are filling in dots and you are trying to find a solution for that. And also zinthu zina ndizonena kuti iweyo ngati munthu mwina sungati kuzipanga paweka, so you seek help from others. Like you look into the community who is matured enough kuti kupatsa guidance. At times you would also seek professional help. Yep. Maybe a professional would help me. So as you are taking necessary steps, you should understand it's a process. So what is I and it doesn't mean now your pain is not valid. No. We are valuing that pain. Not be a victim for the rest of your life. And you should take that effort, or you should pay for the price. The next generation should not pass through that. Same. Yeah. So if you have passed through some trauma that you inherited, make an effort now. I'm going to give them love, and they're not supposed to pass through this trauma. Yeah. If you have grown up in a family, get help on financial redress. Tivete drama ndijani ndaroma igitsa chiro banje kodi ndikurupa ngendrama ina inzake umena kurutani kodi discipline ya drama nditi. Go to school, get educated, push yourself further. There is no limit to doing things. So and we should strive we should get better by the day. And I've already said now it's also very important kuti munthu uzidziwa iweyo weakness yako. Generational gap still yabo. Modziwe so iweyo weakness yako ngati kuti ineyo I think ndimalakwa izi ndikonze izinthu zilizo zimene zonse. Otherwise, seeking all that help and without looking at yourself, there's nothing that you can do and there's nothing that will change.
Yeah.
So in order to end this generational cases, these are some of the things that we are supposed to do.
I hear you.
Let's try to do things differently. Zima sinta, osare masanga, but at a pace, but komaso muntu ukale kuti you are committed for that course.
Yeah.
Chifukwa commitment imatifota. Chitobanga discover chintu, or you're not committed.
Yeah.
Utobanga discover chintu, you are not putting a deliberate effort.
We got some timelines in Bunabu.
Hey, ndiye muntu uzidziwatsa iweyo ndi timeline. Mina marwatsira kunchiro kuti. Kuti ungafika pa 5 ukale kuri we mali bora akwarane. So ungafika pa 6. Umalemba zimene.
Umagona too many.
So we are supposed to also look at our life as a project and see kuti my cases awawa. Mwana wanga asakumane nawo. Ineyo ndithane nawo. Ndino titenge madelivery chadori efforts. Otherwise, tidzida anthu nina kuti munaso alibe ufiti iwo. Tidziona ngati kuti tambira. Pamene wewe kudzitambira wekha chifukwa sukufuna kuti ubange zinthu zimene zili zofunikira.
I hear you.
At that moment.
Thank you very much. I think just to echo, you've brought up a lot of powerful points, and I like the issue of transparency, my generational curses, I think sometimes antujima tokukhala so mu nkwiyo of the previous generation. I think an example of this is this issue of yomwe Gambia last week. Kumati mamenyedwa tili ana jani. Whatnot. Mwina umatoka ndi nkwiyo, but I think I once sat down I took the liberty to sit down with my mom and my dad, mostly my mom, I think one time, and I got to understand her story. And ugamva zomwe adu and then to realize the things they had to fight to make our lives better. You realize and what do they have fought for generational curses? And they're not also yes. They are figuring out life. Also agankoyamba. They are also figuring out life yes. Right now.
And I think we do not give our parents enough grace.
We do not give them enough credit as well.
But many kumano and hawawa, honestly, they have they have shown us mercy, they have shown us favor. Yeah. I don't know how to put it, but they have put us on a spot. I don't know. No one can. So they have tried for us.
Yeah. So I think it speaks to the same, because I think for me, when I started to audit those things, it gave me a blueprint. For instance, when I spoke to my mother, and then I spoke to my grandmother, I was able to understand what was transferred and what was improved between my grandmother and my mother. And then after that, then I could also see the things that have improved between her and me. You know what I mean? And it gives me that awareness to say, oh, okay, I think so now it's my time to move that needle across and move it better, so that it's not going to be perfect, but at least yeah. And I think, like you said, that element of not being a narcissist is very important, because narcissists will not want to accept it. So even they'll even cry about it and make you feel guilty.
I've been in a space whereby I was with a narcissist. So one thing that I have forgotten to talk about is forgiveness. In all these things that we have said, be it spiritual, be it chan, be it chan, as you are accepting your situation, forgive yourself for choosing to be in that space. Forgive your previous generations for allowing good kind of space. But now we are saying, as you are working on forgiveness, focus on the things that you can change and the things that you can work on.
Yeah.
So set goals and have a timeline. I do not want this to happen to me or to the next generation that is coming after me. That is something that you can control as a person. Forgiveness should be key. I forgot to talk about it, but it's one of the key factors.
So I think maybe just like a signing out note. I think one thing that I have also picked up in life, I think towards this whole element of awareness and auditing, like we've said, you cannot, not all of our friends in the Medima could read my issues, right? So not everybody can be a mentor for every, like one person cannot be one, one size fits all mentor.
Zona.
But I think you can also look at you can go there and learn a few things and see where the gaps are. Because as soon as you start to practice the things they practice, then you become that Banjalo Sangarat. For example, Antoina, they're very good at finances and money. You know what I mean? You go there, you audit their lives, you speak to them, you learn from them, and you become them. Because the element, I think it's just the idea of once you become what they have become, there's a high likelihood you will have what they have.
Yes.
So I think there should be an intentional effort to grow in every aspect of our life, be it financial, spiritual, and being a good partner. You should strive to be better. There's no perfection.
I have like mentors, dimensions of life.
Awesome.
I know now, if I want to understand issues to do with relationships better, I should go and talk to this person. Issues to do with finances, I go and talk to someone. Issues to do with personal growth, career development, I go and talk to Montwina Wage. There are issues to do with humanity, Christianity, I will go maybe talk to my mom about it.
Yeah.
Maybe there are issues no understanding as bamboo, what is it exactly that a woman is supposed to do? I can go to my dad. There are other men that I talk to that you can go and ask. So muntu usangu kalandi mentor mods. I uzukalandi my mentors angapo. So there should be a number of people that you look up to. These people inspire. If you are to sit down and talk about your story, in my story, guys, in my book of life, at this moment, at some point in life, I went to college, I went out, and this is how those people helped me.
Yeah.
So when you get different characters, different understanding of life, different dimensions of things, you
were powerhouse.
And build something that is great and something that others also would come and seek knowledge and seek guidance from. Komano usango kala ndi bank emozi ya knowledge. Aye. Babila kwa ntosenesi. Kudizizi. Mumasenisa. Komaso mujanika nena ndai jokona wote. When someone is doing better than you, usajira nsanje. Tabira kume kuchaku. Kampetete. Kudiwe Stevie. Is this one is about? Stevie jaguna akuforo kuzere. Is this something that I can do? Are there some leaves that I can borrow from this?
Yeah.
And you go and build something. Otherwise, knowledge, you should be humble enough to go and learn from others.
Yeah. Powerful stuff. No, Togo, today has been very deep. Thank you so much for this conversation. Do you have a signing out note that you want to say or share to the people before we close?
I think I've said enough. So until next time, we're going to talk more in the other episode.
Awesome. So thank you so much for being there and for listening in. I think the issue is, let us be aware of our stigmas. Let's be aware of our flaws and be open to having that conversation. Also as a sungira roka, because zima puli garu zikakala zilingari vibe sina tsiguge. So when you talk about these things, it starts to unclog some of those issues, and then you're able to fix the root problem, because you cannot really fix the problem palitove. So therapy and some of these things and talking about it and sharing, it's like you're trying to remove that tobe so that you can now find the root problem and fix that problem for yourself. So you've been with me, Steve, and bueno, I'm going to go find a nickname. Yeah, Uncle Steve. You've been with me, Uncle Steve.